Yo! Hi! Sorry that my voice just got all the way up there. But I wanted to get back to my Sick Myth Sundays, or really just kind of talk about random things that have happened to me when people think myth, or anything really, so let's just get right to it. I'll put in the comments down below what I am using so you can kind of get an idea. And let's talk about some real shit, alright? I don't know. Can you see my space fun? Can you see my shirt? You know what's up. We're gonna be talking about aliens. And they're like, Brittany! Why? Why do you want to talk about aliens? Why don't you want to talk about aliens? Because we need to talk about some stuff that has happened to me, bro. And I don't even care at this point if I just seem crazy, because we're all out here and we're all existing, so that's pretty crazy. Alright, so the first time is 3 separate incidents. And you're gonna think, 3, Brittany? 3? Really? You're making this up. And I'm gonna be like, nah. Because I can definitely get, I can't get the second incident, because he now has a wife and children, so I probably couldn't be like, hey, come tell people what we saw. But the other one, I could actually bring them in. Okay, so me and my mother, who definitely did not believe in aliens before this incident. So now I'm very excited she does. Because I was going crazy. Alright, so my mom and I don't want to like give off the names of the street, because then like it'll show you where I live. And I feel like that's really dangerous for online. But you are coming on one street onto another, and you go down that street, and then it has this weird warp thing around the house, and then right before you come around this corner, and you're close to where I grew up, there is just cornfield. And then a street that divides it, a street that goes into the next city, where I also went to middle school. So we're getting ready to go home, just talking about random stuff, and as we're going home, we wipe around that corner, and that's where the corn had already been, like, taken out, so it was just, like, an empty cornfield, you know, so it wasn't like the cornfield was, like, obstructing our view of the moon or something. No. Yeah, no. Yeah, hell no. Okay, so, goosebumps already. They know I'm talking. Alright, so, we come around this corner, and you see the cornfield, and it opens up, and then there was just this thing below. There's this thing that is like a rectangle, right? But instead of, like, pretend there's a line here and here, right? But instead of rectangle, it was like, but it was still a rectangle, so it was like, yeah. And then there was 3 windows, right, that were glowing. And we couldn't see anything in them. They were just glowing, like, so, like, we knew, and it was nighttime. So, like, my mom, like, immediately, like, like, if you meet my mom, you would know what I mean. Anytime, like, Bunny would run in the street or something, she just, and she'll blow your, like, she's gonna protect you. She's gonna save you, right? So we're doing this, and we realize this. She does that, and then I realize, like, that's my mom. Like, my mom sees it. She's acknowledging it. Like, something real is happening right now. And I'm like, okay, we need to follow it. And we're, like, slowly going on this road. And then it goes, there's our street, and that's where it divides up here. And then it goes into the next city. And so we are going towards this way, and out of nowhere, it knew we were watching it or something. And, like, my mom was like, I was like, girl, don't you dare, like, follow that. And So we're going down, and as we are going down, we realize there's like a bunch of trees on the next cornfield, because there's a cornfield on both sides of the street where I grew up. And then you come around, and then like, so with this thing that's making no sound. It is making zero sound. Like there's no wind movement, there's nothing. It's just hovering. And so you come down the street, and then that's house, and mind you, I grew up here, so like I know where everything is. That's house, some trees, house, bend, house, straight, then you turn, and then that's Parkview Middle School, which I probably shouldn't have said that, but you know what? So we pull into the school I go to, or went to, and you go back. It's just like the hometown school, and there is a baseball field there, like just built up quick baseball field. So I'm like, okay, bet. So we pull into that gravel road, because like it's not even a street, it's just like a hometown baseball field type of thing. And so I'm like, alright, bet. So we're pulling in, and this thing had already, we're following it, mind you, when we get here. And it comes like kind of over the baseball field, and we're looking at it. Just completely silent. And like, I'm like, oh my god, like what is happening? And I didn't feel scared, oddly. My mom felt petrified. But I was just intrigued. So immediately I go, okay, like what is it? And when I say, okay, like what is it? Literally, it just, here's the eye, and it just disappeared, like, woo, woo, like, there was no sound, there was no, woo, it was just, and I was like, what just happened? Like, goosebumps. And then, yeah, I do my eyebrows. For people who tell you need a lot of money to do makeup, you don't. It's a paintbrush, and a really old, like, so anytime people see my makeup popping, like, you can do whatever you can do with what you got. And so, that was our first experience. And when I say our, because the third experience was also with my mom. So, like, I tried to tell my dad. He doesn't believe us, obviously. But my mom did, and that was enough for me. Like, my mom saw it, and, like, she knows that, like, even if it's just, like, some weird, like, our government stuff. Like, she knows whatever that was. Like, that was a UFO. That was an unidentified flying object. Like, something was yeetin' McJeedicus. You feel me? It was very Yeedicus. And so, the second one, I am with, one of my friends, Mike. And he is coming. So, mind you, everywhere I live, there's just cornfield. So, we're not in the first city or the second city, but we're in a different city now. And, of course, you're going the back road. And you come around, and it's one tree, and then it's just through the back road, you know, all surrounded by corn. And so we come around this first corner, and I see something just floating, like glowing, and like my voice gets real quiet, and I'm like, yo, like what is that? And he was like, that's the moon. And I was like, no, it is not. Because that's the moon, so that isn't the moon, okay? And then, like, we're, like, looking at it, and we're driving, and it's just, like, this, like, you couldn't even see, like, the shape that well. It was, like, almost, I don't want to say a flying saucer, but it was, like, behind a cloud, and it was just this pulsating glow. And I was like, the moon does not pulsate like that. Also, the moon is over there, not over there, homeboy. So, I'm like, okay. So this happened, and then I was like, what is happening? Okay, so the third one is the one that gets me the most. Because the first two was like, oh, I looked at something that maybe I shouldn't have seen. You know? But then the third one, I feel crazy telling people this, but I can't not experience it. I already experienced it. So we're going and we are acknowledging. Me and my cousin Dominic are inside my mom's house, and she goes, she go. But she's out there talking for like, I don't know, hours or whatever, to my aunt who lives currently in a different state with some weird scenario. And she was just going through some stuff at the time. So my mom was out there talking, and then she tells me at first she thought it was like a firefly, but it was like a consistent firefly, like in the same spot. And when you're sitting on my mom's front porch, there's a house right above, and then the first road that we go, it goes past the house and then behind and then into the next city. And she's looking at it, and then it's just this like, and so I'm like, okay, like something's going on, something's happening, blah, blah, blah. So she comes to come get us. And when she comes to get us, she decides, oh, like, something has happened. And she acknowledges. So this thing, right? This thing, whatever it is, it comes up from behind the house. And it's this little one, right? But it's not little. Like, it's huge. But let me tell you why I said little. Hold up. So this little one comes up. And it, like, and it starts heading down the street to Lucille, which is an older lady that my family takes care of, and has always like kind of been in our family. Like, she's like the most amazing woman I've ever met. Getting sidetracked, but whatever. So she is she's telling us, she comes to get me. Me and Dominic come outside. We were like inside watching some anime or something, and we go outside and we see it. Like, we're looking at it, but it's just like, and it's going down the street. So I'm like, at this point, I'm like, what the fuck is happening? So, the big one, Lord, the big one comes out from behind the house, but it's not behind the house. Like, it's just in the sky. Like, we couldn't see it from our view because house, like, across the street, thing coming out from behind the house. And she comes out, and this huge one comes out, and I mean like, and it just stops, and you see the light pulsating very faintly, but you see it, you see the outline, like, it's like it wasn't all the way like here, but it was, if that makes sense. I can't even, man, I'm gonna look so crazy when I upload this. Sick Miss Sundays! But you see it, right? And so one went down the street, and the other one goes across the cornfield. So, like, me and Dominic are immediately like, we need to get this. Like, we need to get this. And I didn't have the equipment I have now, or the technology I have now, to be able to have gotten that. But, like, if I could just explain to you the type of, not even fear, just pure, genuine curiosity I felt in that moment. So, me and Dominic follow it. We're like, my mom is like, get back to the house, get back to the house, get back to the house. And like, you can like, she cussed my mother. Look, my mom doesn't cuss. She cussed. I wasn't ready for that. So I knew there was some fear in her. And so she goes, get in the house. And me and Dominic, like, Dominic pulls out his phone. He's trying to record it. I don't want to leave because I don't want to miss this. And it's just silent. Like, I asked him, like, do you hear anything? He's like, no. Like, because I didn't know if I didn't. But he heard nothing. So we're looking at this. And as we're looking at it, we realize it stopped. Like, it just stopped rotating. And I was like, oh boy, like, this is, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it was fear or what it was, but, like, whatever it was, Lord, have full mercy. It stopped, and my brain was like, say something. And I was just like, hey! And then, like, it just, and I was like, we're looking at this point, my mom's like, back to the house. And I'm like, and like, we listen to my mom, but like, it responded to me. And when I just screamed like, hey, that's when it stopped. And like, I will never, oh man, Sick Miss Sunday, sick. Because let me tell you, this, not even fear, like, I don't even know how to explain. When you see something, that you cannot explain, back to back, the same one, the small one that took off that way, and the larger one of the same shape that took off that way, and they're like, I don't think our military capabilities are at what I had just saw. I'll be honest. Like, I know you want to say, like, there's the military and blah, blah, blah. But, like, the thing that I had saw that night, and the fact that, like, it responded. Then I was like, what is it? Like, what is... Like, oh, man, I don't even know. I'm just going to keep stuttering through this whole thing. Because it was such a wild experience that I hope I experience again. Because, I mean, I make a lot of jokes that I feel alienistic, and that, you know, like, I half of my life was silent, so it was a lot of heavy meditation before I even knew meditation was. It was just canceling out everything. And I read recently that, you know, before everyone's like, yeah, girl's a little crazy. I know. I'm okay with that. But the fact that I saw what I saw, and my mom saw what I saw, and she cussed, and then my cousin saw what he saw, like, we all were experiencing it at the same moment. Like, nobody can ever tell me what I saw was fake, or that I hallucinated it. Like, I am so sure, like, it was, as real as, like, just finding a stray dog and being like, come here, Lucky, and trying to, like, find him to his correct owners. Like, it was there. We were not dreaming. It was multiple people. And I don't know how to express that unfear and that fear at the same time. To be able to say, oh, this is what happened, and I was completely unafraid would be a lie. But I wasn't afraid. Like, it was like, am I about to get hurt? But I didn't feel like I was. Like, I felt like, oh man. I felt like this is a really good topic that we definitely need to dive into when it comes to Sick Miss Sunday stuff. By the way, in case you're wondering, what I'm doing with this Q-tip, you can do makeup, it's just NYX glitter glue. I don't know how makeup artists do that. And then some glitter, like regular class glitter. Hi! Thank you. Alright, so the next thing I wanted to talk about in this, because I want to make sure I keep this kind of relatively short, is the fact that I have saw something that I can never explain properly what it was to someone who hasn't seen something. Makes me feel crazy. It makes me feel crazy. So I can only imagine the people who might have, and even when I say might have, people that probably did experience something. I watched a documentary recently, and this isn't why I'm talking to you about it, But I watched a documentary recently, and it was about, like, making contact. You know, Tom DeLonge from, like, Blink-182, and, like, aliens are real, and all this crazy stuff. Like, the Trump's making the Space Force. Like, we're gonna dominate across. We shouldn't dominate across. We should make peace. We should make alliances. I feel like if something were to hurt us, and it's already flying around that quietly, and it has this much capability, like, it would have wiped us out already. Let's be honest. We don't have the material to fight this thing. So that's wild. And then another thing is, ooh Lord, your girl was not prepared, huh? Another thing is, why is it such a secret? Why was it such a secret, you know, that aliens exist? And I was watching this documentary, which really started off with, like, ESP and how the government, you know, you can go back and look, exactly, like, what was happening, and, like, how we used psychics and world wars to, like, gain insider information. Like, stuff that is not explainable is the type of stuff that is so excitable to me. Because I'm like, why can't we explain it? Like, where are we at? You know, because, like, if I took my smartphone, and I took this back to, like, Thomas Edison, or anyone, honestly, back then, I would probably, like, Salem witch trial get strung for this type of sorcery, for this type of magic. So, we know that we're constantly making progress. And we know that there's things that we're not going to understand right now. So the fact, oh Lord! I saw it! And I'm crazy, and I'm okay with that. Let me do this wing real quick. I'm getting so good at my wings. Also for people who are like, girl, your wings are so good. Practice. Just practice. More importantly with this, I love that I'm going on camera without makeup. Because I will be honest, it has been years. Once I learned how to do makeup, I built my self-esteem off of feeling pretty for myself, that I kind of forgot to feel pretty as myself, like without anything. And that was a lot of things that were out of my control, unfortunately. So, we're going to talk about the next step real quick. So, aliens, man. So, if aliens were here, which they are, we're not dumb. They've already admitted it. Like, the government has admitted it. Everything's here. Like, we know this. There's been people who I think this is the heartbreaking part. There has been people who have tried so hard to get somebody to believe them that they just went crazy, and unfortunately took their life. I have dove deep, like I do with every subject I'm interested in. Remember, there's some people surviving that are only alive off of survivor's guilt. Like, someone they knew experienced something that they also experienced and then killed themselves, and then they felt like they had to keep living to do something about it. No survivor's guilt. And they couldn't take their own life, even though they had tried. And I think that's so heartbreaking that everyone wants to immediately dismiss everything. Like, there's a whole culture built around, here's this, that have no contact with each other. Like, are we really gonna just dismiss everything? Like, we're gonna believe in God and everything else out there, and ghosts and everything, but we're not gonna believe in the fact that this little floating planet out of God knows how many interstellar stars and planets and systems and galaxies and possibly multi-dimensional travel systems, like wormholes, like this stuff that there's real science behind, we're just gonna dismiss that? No, thank you. I will stay over here looking crazy for people who believe I look crazy, and I'm cool with that. So, that last one really solidified that I knew we weren't the only ones here. Like, I know. And I'm okay with that. If I ever come off in a way where people are like, oh, this girl is blah, blah, blah. Congratulations, join the line. A lot of people had said this girl has entered thing here. Still here, sorry. And then I wanted to take 2 split seconds to talk about what will you do? I want to know, if you're watching this, you made it this far. First off, thank you. I'm getting close to the 30-minute mark. I want to make sure none of my shit is over 30. But if you see something, or you've seen something, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to be quiet about it? Are you going to talk about it? Honestly, drop a comment. I want to know, like, what have you experienced? Like, I feel like we're all so afraid of what the next person thinks. We're forgetting what it means to be human, which is to grow, which is to grab the next information and study it and learn, and not act like all our ideas are better than the next idea. Because the government is legitimately telling everybody, like, yo, this stuff really happened, we really done this. And 2020 was such 2020 that people are like, oh, murder hornets, COVID, aliens are real cool. But, like, COVID's an issue on this planet. Murder hornets are an issue on this planet. What's not an issue is, like, why are we the only being that have made it this far evolutionary-wise? Like, that's wild. And I think we need to start opening that line of, hey, something's happening. Why? Or, hey, something's happening where? Because my YouTube's gonna get real weird soon. Real weird! And I definitely am gonna be all about talking about it, for sure. And I see that we are coming up on that 30-minute mark. We almost got the highlight on. Do a quick makeup for Space Day, Space Girl, Alien Boy, whatever reference I make to some random thing. And then when you are doing makeup, or even if you don't, even if you do special effects makeup or something, the first thing I want to make sure, or last thing I want to say, honestly, please be patient with yourself on everything you do. It will take time, it will take frustration, but don't think about how good the next person is doing. Think about how great you're gonna be. Because there's so many things, so many of us do not know. And we're scared to try because we're scared about what the next person thinks. And then I'm totally cool if I look like a clown right now, too. Kind of wanted to space babe this up. My bun's falling down here. Ooh. So, thank you for joining me. I super appreciate it. Thank you for sticking around for my little alien story. 6th Sunday. We're gonna keep doing makeup. We're gonna keep trying to do good recklessly. And I will join you in the next video. Thank you. Should probably come up with an outro maybe. But I think we're just kind of finding ourselves right now. So, adios. I really appreciate you.